An auto mechanic, who I'll call Bob, wraps up the day of work. A calendar on the door reveals it's sometime in May 2004. He hops in his car, what appears to be a Volvo 240, and heads out. Name relation, maybe? While ready to get home and relax, he sees a strange white beam of light hit the road. It's blinding and entirely engulfing. Bob can't see anything, but he tastes iron in his mouth, and his body feels numb. Normally, one might wonder if this is a stroke, if not for the crazed beam of light. Sometime in the future, a crushed vehicle sits on the ground outside. It leans back and forth to rock its way ahead. I've been following these tracks for a while, but I haven't heard any birds yet, Bob whispers to himself. As he rocks a little further, nearby birds scatter as a train car passes by. Are those birds? He asks to no one. His vision is difficult, looking out through dirty glass from inside the small crushed car. Why are birds so important anyway? Dirt, soot, and grease obscure most of his sight. A connected GPS system reveals it is 2011 now. While slowly rocking his way forward, he mentions to himself that the damsel bugs are migrating away finally, and that they steal rations frequently. The damsel bugs are large, even more so than a military helicopter. What feels like days later, the compacted car reaches a shipping container and rocks his way in. Inside the container, a small rat with a flashlight for a head lurks about, his beam welcome in the darkness. Other rats in the area, though, seem to be fairly normal. The crushed car makes a mention of the settlers and that they are vile. The car uses its claw arm to grab a canned food off the ground and bring it to a slot on its body. As the food goes inside, we see Bob inside of the crushed vehicle, his body fused to the crushed frame. The food moves up through a hose fused with Bob's face. Eating doesn't do anything anymore, he trails off. When will it end? I can't even think clearly any longer. Why do we have to look like them? As the food finishes, Bob's torment is extensive. He mentions the need to find the surgeon. Sometime later, Bob arrives to a large facility and sees a man with his bottom half missing, fused to the front end of a car. The man wakes up upon Bob's arrival and painfully uses his arms to slide and roll himself forward with the wheels. Obviously appearing different, Bob inquires what happened. The man mentions he tried to free himself from his car and bled out. Unfortunately, he woke up with his body fused to a car engine. He mentions that he didn't see them, but he did feel their presence. Bob reminds him that the surgeon can free them. The man claims to know where it is, and the pair head out. As the duo make their way, Bob is reminded by his friends that he's the only one who can check for birds, since he's encased inside of the car like armor. The damsel bugs would swipe him immediately. But why do we care about birds? What is their significance? And what's the problem with damsel bugs swiping people if they're trying to die? Are they not able to die and the damsel bugs would just torture them through feedings or something? Bob retells his experience that the world is still kind of functioning outside and that most birds remain unchanged. The two talk about their experiences before the flash and that there were several flashes across the world. The news even told people not to panic and to stay in close proximity to vehicles and to seek shelter within. The flashes had come not all at once, but multiple times through the day. As they finally arrive, they find themselves surrounded by two large glowing machines with some type of magnetic energy. Bob's friend finds himself lifted into the air. The energy rips apart all of the metal from his body as he screams. His half body floats in the air. The man is then pulled in many different directions until he is ripped completely apart. Maybe the iron in his own blood is also ripped from him, causing this complete destruction and shredding of his flesh. That would make sense with the magnetic idea with the cars ripping off of him. The scene is quite grotesque, but Bob can't really see due to his dirty windshield. Bob's friend is freed from the torment of this fused life, but at the ultimate cost of his existence. Bob scoots forward for his turn. The machine glows alive again, its power pulsing in the air, and then nothing. The machine simply doesn't work. Bob sighs as he leaves the facility, listening to the bugs buzzing outside. Bob rocks back and forth to head outside. At least when it's warm outside, he can feel a bit of it inside of his car, and he feels like he can feel a little something again. As he nears the exit, Bob falls into a crater on the floor on his side. He rocks back and forth in a panic, but cannot move now that he's on his side and inside the crater with no leverage to turn himself back up. What a cruel world, he whispers aloud. Given that it's not even possible to die from bleeding out like Bob's friend tried, it's entirely possible that Bob will simply be stuck in this crater forever, never being allowed to die, but never being able to move on into some other thing. He will simply be stuck in this hole for all eternity. But why do we care about the birds? This was the story of Fuse 240. It was kind of a short one, but thanks for watching.